Hey y'all. All right, so this is like early morning chat time. Like I am not even dressed yet. I'm in my jammies and like my favorite sweater that my family wishes I would throw away from like 10 years ago. Having coffee on my porch is the best. So I'm doing this study with a couple of other friends about Mary Magdalene through the CAC, which is out west. Richard Rohr is, if y'all are a Richard Rohr fan or enthusiast, which, oh my gosh, I am. Anyway, he is, or has been, the kind of heartbeat of the CAC. So, it's so great. It is like, I love that organization. I love how they hold space to deepen people's faith and let them ask all the hard questions, and it's just a really beautiful organization. So in this study, and I remember learning all this in college, and I guess you can just only absorb and retain so much, but it's like making me remember my classes in college talking about the formation of the Bible. And it's not really shocking at all. And I see how it's rattling for people to get this information and soak it in, because when everything else is being questioned, like none of us want, these foundational things. Well, I won't say none of us. A lot of us don't want these foundational things questioned, but I am so thankful for my college education at little Presbyterian College. It's a small liberal arts school in South Carolina, and I'm just so grateful because I remember one of my professors saying, there was like a debate on campus because they did this symposium about homosexuality, and this was like in 1993 or 4. I think it was in 94. And there was this huge like debate on campus if that was okay. And they said, look, we're bringing the world to you, and you need to reckon with what is happening in the world and let it collide with your faith and see what sticks in your faith and what doesn't. Because if your faith isn't sturdy enough now, it's gonna get shattered to pieces. And we want you to develop a sturdiness. And they did not say rigidness. And the whole idea was about having this contemplative, like open part of yourself that could handle questions, and what if something you thought was true was not, and just being like confident enough in your deep inner landscape to handle getting roughed up a little bit with your ideas and beliefs, right? Like kind of, anyway. So I'm just reminded in this course I'm a little behind. Everybody else is on week 5, and I am just like slowly still digesting week 3. But the teacher is talking about, this is a religious scholar, Cynthia Borgalt. I feel like I can't say her last name right. But anyway, she's talking about the formation of the Bible, and how much was left out, how the Bible was formed, like what our ideas about how the Bible was formed, and what was actually true about how these stories came to be written down. And y'all, it's just common sense. And I don't know why we started thinking something else, that all these stories were spoken, and it wasn't like there was a dude named Mark following Jesus around. Like, yeah, we got to remember there was no pen and paper. Like, what was he doing, walking around with his like inkwell and a feather and leaned up against a tree? Like, no. And I think people just have these crazy assumptions about that, God like breathed the Bible out of his mouth onto paper. No, it like through humans. God, God can get a message through humans. And so these stories were told and then later written, and a lot of accounts were chosen not to be in the Bible. Okay, well, we should question why, because it was just a table full of men deciding. And we have to remember that these men that were deciding, their own livelihood depended on what God decided. And you and I have been at tables where we were deciding things, and you almost can't not consider your own livelihood. So if it's going to erase them from the order of things, they're not going to include that. So I just want us to remember that Jesus was Jewish, and trying to deepen and widen who was allowed at the table in the Jewish tradition. He wasn't a Christian. He wasn't a Christian. We formed that word for him, based on him. He was trying to deepen and widen the community that he loved, the faith that he loved. And I just feel like right now, what I see in the Christian culture is a lot of people are leaving the church because the church is like clamped down on this narrow, like you have to believe this, like this hard stop around all these things. And people are like, no, because people want deeper and wider, and they really are following Jesus because they want more. And so one of Cynthia's quotes from this particular talk that I listened to today, I need to paint this. I'm not a tattoo person because I'm a chicken, but if you have a tattoo, please show me yours and tell me all about it. But don't tell me about when you got it because I might pass out. But she said, we were once wide and then went narrow. I wrote it wrong. She said something like, we were once broad and then went narrow. Once were wide and then went rigid. I think I have one of the wides wrong, but you get the drift. Jesus widened things, and then we start down the road narrowing. And y'all, isn't that what's happening now? That's what's happening again right now. And so I just want you to know that here in this space, like what I'm here for is like a road with more lanes. I'm here for more space for all of us. We have narrowed the road in education. Like there's only like one lane of a normal kid before all of a sudden you have to have a label and a diagnosis and all the reasons you're not scoring whatever on the test. The road is too narrow. We have all different kinds of learners. And that's why teachers are so frustrated. They're ready for all of that. But the system is like putting the squeeze. And in the church, the same thing is happening. So I hope you'll join me here. And I'm here for all the conversations about widening and expanding your heart, your belief system, just your love for your neighbor, your family, yourself. So anyway, that was just on my heart. Tell me what's on your heart this morning.